Department in Michigan, USA. He teaches presentation skills on 5 continents and in 49 of the 50 states of the United States of America. A former musician, Michael uses his entertaining speaking style to help leaders, salespeople, customer service teams, and Rotarians around the world. Michael's clients include the Bank of America, Verizon Wireless, Reavac Walmart, AT&T, the National Institute of Health, the Barbados Ministry of Tourism, and the United States Navy. He's the author of the book, the the Dear Michael Angelo audiobook, and has a very successful online speaking coaching program called Present Like a Pro. Michael is a lifetime Rotarian in the Troy Rotary Club of Michigan, USA. Michael was District Governor of District 6380 in 2016-2017 and currently serves as Rotary Public Image Coordinator, the RPIC, for Zone 29. Dozens of Rotary clubs in North America have hosted Michael's public professional development programs. These events have raised over $250,000 for Rotary because Michael donates his speaking fee back to the hosting club. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Michael Angelo Caruso. Thank you.
Thank you, Abelardo. And congratulations, everyone, on your 10th anniversary of your district. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I have deep roots with South Africa in particular. Some of you may know that in 1995, I answered an ad in a local newspaper for an organization called Rotary. I didn't even know how to pronounce Rotary at the time. And I answered the ad and ended up going on what was called then a youth group study exchange. It's simply since been renamed to vocational training teams. And in the preparation of getting ready to go on the trip, I learned more about Rotary in 6 months than most Rotarians learn in 6 years. It was a fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it, and of course I joined Rotary as soon as I got back. I've been a member ever since 1996, actually. So we had a great time in South Africa. I have fond memories of Joburg, which is where the stay was. We also visited Pretoria, Kruger Park, and Cape Town. It was fantastic. We learned a lot about South Africa when we were there. We also learned a lot about wildlife. We learned about the Big Five. We learned about things called herd immunity. Of course, immunity has taken a new definition now in the land of the pandemic as we all try to figure out how to get past our current health conditions. It occurs to me, too, that there's another kind of immunity that Rotary needs, and that is something that keeps us safe, keeps us healthy moving forward. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, some ideas on how to keep your Rotary Club healthy, growing. And I wanted to share 4 ideas with you today, 4 simple ideas. And if you've got a pen, you might want to write them down because you won't remember. And you could take them back to your club and talk about ways that you can put these kinds of ideas into place. So before I get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about how change works. You know, Rotary, of course, is a very, very large organization. We're well over a century old. And sometimes old organizations, large organizations, take a long time to turn around or to change things. And I think that's true for Rotary as well. Now, it hasn't been lost on me that smaller groups are able to make those kinds of changes much faster. And it's interesting to me that an organization called TED, do you know the group TED? Give me a thumbs up if you know the group TED. The group TED has talked about, has done these 18-minute talks for some time now. And all of the 18-minute talks are recorded. Many of them are on YouTube. And this organization, TED, has grown exponentially in the last decade or 12 years. And this is interesting to me because Rotary has predicated itself on 20-minute talks from guest speakers. Most of these talks are not recorded. And in some ways, TED has eaten the Rotary's lunch by mastering this 18-minute talk because the speakers are really good. They're rehearsed. They are, again, published online. And so this is the craze now all over the world, people taking in TED Talks. It's amazing. And so it's interesting to me that while Rotary has these 18 or 20-minute talks, that many of them are not recorded. And that may be good because some of those talks aren't very good. You know, we want to only have really good speakers at our clubs, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But so these smaller groups that are more nimble and more excited and perhaps even more, they're not more passionate, but their passion is newer in some ways. I think you understand what I'm saying when I talk about this. I'll give you an example of something that's happening today here in the US that is very interesting to me. You know, there are a lot of protests right now and a lot of violence in the streets. It's a very unsettling time here in our country. We're not used to it, and I hope things will turn out okay. One of Rotary's 6 areas of focus is peace, combined with conflict prevention and resolution. And it seems to me that if Rotary wanted to be relevant, and why doesn't it, that we would weigh in on this thing that's happening in the United States right now. It's actually happening in other parts of the world as well. And to its credit, Rotary did issue a statement on racism, discrimination, the fact that, you know, that we don't care for it, that kind of thing. But maybe this is our time, Rotary's time, to speak out even more about this, because this is what we've been waiting for. You know, it's kind of an inflection point for a Rotary area of focus to become something that everybody's looking at, and a chance for Rotary to step into that, to step into the void, if you will, and raise our head up a bit and say, you know, this is who we are. Now, Rotary is an international organization that moves very slowly. We've talked about this. So would the people in Evanston, Rotary International Headquarters, would they be okay with speaking out about something that's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota? Or is that not our purview because Rotary is an international organization? You know, we wouldn't give some sort of extra attention to something that's happening in one country of the world because we're supposed to be serving a world base. Which raises the question, how about the district in Minneapolis, Minnesota, making a statement or getting involved? And how about the Rotary Club of Minneapolis, Minnesota getting involved because the rioting is happening in their streets? You see? But this so far is not something that Rotary gets involved with. Maybe we need to think about something like this so that we can actually help, that we can actually have a voice, that we can actually be involved with relevant issues as they're happening. So it's just something to think about, I think, moving forward. Let's talk about the 4 things that we can do right now to improve Rotary. People ask me when I'm on the Rotary circuit, what should Rotary do next? And this is my answer. The 4 things that Rotary should do next. Number 1, we need to shore up communications. One of our challenges is that we're communicating in so many different platforms. If you think about this, we communicate via text, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, LinkedIn, email. We communicate on district Facebook groups, club Facebook groups, zone Facebook groups, personal Facebook pages, WhatsApp, and also good old-fashioned phone calls. So we're all over the place. Where can we go that we can actually, oh, did I mention newsletters? Where can we go that we can actually communicate with everybody and communicate best practices? So right now we have a lot of Facebook groups, and they're all kind of the same. Can we talk the truth? I know Rotarians love the truth, right? Is it the truth? A lot of our Facebook groups are the same. In fact, the meeting planners and the organizers and the people with the big megaphones have figured this out, and they simply copy paste the same message to 5 or 6 or 10 Rotary groups, right? And so not only are all the groups getting the same message, but we've developed a kind of bulletin board mentality to Facebook groups, a kind of I call it seagull posting. You know what seagulls do? They just kind of fly over and they drop, whatever message they want to drop, and then they fly away. And we're seeing this a lot in Facebook groups where we just post a message we don't care so much who sees it as long as some people see it. It doesn't have to be the relevant people, it just has to be people. We don't hang around for the responses, we don't answer questions. So we get these bulletin board type feels to the Facebook groups. And I thought coming in as Rotary International or Rotary Public Image Chair for Zone 28 starting July 1st, that it would be good to have a platform where we had deeper conversations about content. So I started a Facebook group, and you're all welcome to join if you'd like. It's called Get the Word Out Now, and it's for people, Rotarians, who want to grow their clubs, raise more money, and get attention for the greatest service organization in the world. So when you join the Get the Word Out Now page, we don't allow Seagull posting, right? We don't allow bulletin board type comments. The group will ask you to explain yourself. How did this campaign work for you? What kind of video editing software did you use? How many views did you get of the video, right? Because we don't want to copy average anymore, right? When we send average signals, people perceive us to be average. So we have to be exceptional all the time. That means only high-res photos, high engagement on every post. If you're using social to promote Rotary, and why wouldn't you be, you should be looking to get 10 pieces of engagement on every post. And that includes likes, comments, and shares. And by the way, shares are more valuable than mere likes or emoticons, because share means that you've lent the message out to your group, right? And even more people are getting it. So it's fabulous. So when in the military, they call it shoring up comms. Communication is called comms. But when we shore up communication, then we have a platform for getting to each other with our most important messages. We can actually become very, very efficient. And I think that's just what the doctor ordered for Rotary. So the first one is to shore up comms. The second thing I think Rotary should do right away is get really clear on our goals. And goals, to me, include numbers, right? Because numbers are not open to interpretation and numbers aren't fuzzy. I hear this a lot as a Rotary goal. People say, well, Rotary should be fun. And I'm all for that. I think Rotary should be fun. Thumbs up if you think Rotary should be fun. But how do you measure that? How would an incoming governor be able to measure that the district is actually more fun on June 30th of next year, right, than it is now? It's a hard thing to measure. And so what we want to do is have goals in place that actually have numbers attached to them. I'll give you some examples. Event attendance is a number. Right now there are 284 people on this conference call, right, on this Zoom call. And so it's a number. It can't be denied. We had 284 people. I'm watching that number to see if we have the same amount of people or more on at the end of my talk. Because if the attendance of my talk goes down 100, I need to do something to improve my segment. I'm not holding people the way that I'm expected to hold them. So numbers are really great in that way. Another number I like are deadlines. We say we're going to do something in our club. We're going to make the club more attractive, or we're going to improve speakers, or we're going to do this and this. A number is a deadline. So when you have a deadline, you can hold the club to that. You can hold people accountable to it. A deadline is a number, it's a date. And then finally, membership. And we'll do questions at the end, I promise, I'll be around. Membership is also a number. So if a club says they want to grow the club, the people in charge of the club should say by how much and by when, right? Tie it to those numbers. It's really important. A lot of times we measure membership like how many people we have in the club, sometimes plus or minus, right? We were +4 this year, -4 this year. What you really should be measuring is visitors, because nobody can ever join Rotary without visiting the club first. In a lot of parts of the world, you have to join the club 3 times. Oops, there's another number. You have to visit the club 3 times in order to join the club. And so this is all, I think, best practices for us, and we should be on our way to using numbers more effectively. The third thing I think Rotary should do right away is to experiment and commit to outward-facing programming. Outward-facing programming is, I think, going to be a big key to growing our clubs, growing our districts, and growing our overall membership. This first came to me in 2016 when I was planning a district conference for my district, 6380. I was about to become governor, and because I'm a professional speaker, I'm in the speaking business, I thought, well, I'm gonna pull out all these favors from my speaker buddies. We're gonna get them to waive their speaking fee and come to the conference. So we were at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island in Michigan, which is a world-class tourist destination. People come from all over the world to visit this hotel. I was pulling in speakers that certainly were world-class speakers. And so why wouldn't people who were not Rotarians, people who were not in Rotary District 6380, why wouldn't they want to attend this great event? So we, for the first time ever, we opened up the district conference to people who were not in the district and people who were not Rotarians. And we promoted it that way. And we had all kinds of things to offer them. You know, we had people attending who were not in the district, and we had people attending who were not Rotarians. People flew from the United Kingdom to come to my district conference, our district conference in 6380. Now that's amazing. And we're doing that, of course, with these Zoom calls. I might not be able to be with you today here in Detroit, Michigan, if not for Zoom. But how many of the people on the call today are strictly Rotarians? And is there a way to do Zoom calls in the future with non-Rotary topics or even non-Rotary speakers that would pull people closer to our great organization? I think the answer is yes, but only by using this thing called outward-facing programs. And then, so just to review, the first idea that I have for you is this idea of shoring up communications. The second idea is to get clear on goals, and goals have numbers. The third idea is outward-facing programming. And the fourth idea, the last one I have for you today during my segment, is this idea of an improved club experience. Because we need to be sure that when people miss Rotary, miss your club meeting, they feel like they really missed out on something. And when they have that feeling, they won't ever be gone for long. That when a visitor comes to your club, that it's the most amazing thing they've seen in a long time, and they can't wait to come back a second time, right? And then a third time. And then eventually offer a membership application so that they can join. This is the kind of club experience that we want. Our numbers, membership numbers, show us that perhaps the club experience is failing us, that the value proposition of joining Rotary sounds pretty good to most people that join, but somehow that value proposition isn't fulfilled in the 6-month period after they join, or the 1-year period after they join, because a lot of members drift from us in certain parts of the world. So by improving the club experience, we can, of course, make Rotary a better overall experience for everybody. So those are the 4 things: shore up communications, get clear on goals, and goals are numbers, and also outward-facing programming, and improved club experience. Now, for those of you that are speaking on behalf of Rotary at different types of events, if you do any kind of speaking for Rotary at all, I have a second Facebook group, also free, that you can join. It's called Present Like a Pro. Maybe one of our people looking after the call can find that on Facebook and post the link into comments for you. Present Like a Pro, so that you can increase your speaking skills, do better presentations on behalf of Rotary, and then pull more people closer to us. The second Facebook group, again, is Get the Word Out Now, and any Rotarian can join that group and get ideas for growing your club, raising more money, and getting attention for Rotary. I'm happy to take questions. I have not been paying attention to chat. I've been a bad boy, but maybe somebody can feed those questions to me, or we can ask them in real time right now.
Michael.
Hello.
Michael.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael.